He's got a receiver, and it is caught. Jimmy Smith at the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. He beats Wayne Starks for 45 yards.
Barks out for signals, drops to throw, has time, fires the slant. Jimmy's got it this time, 35, 30, middle of the field, 20. He's going to the 20-yard line. He's going to score. 10, 5, Jimmy Smith, touchdown. And the Jaguars are right back in this ball game. Barks out the signals, pressure coming, steps up, turns, throws. He's got Jimmy, first down, 20. There he goes, 10, 5, touchdown, win. Jacksonville. Done under pressure, steps to avoid, turns and throws. He's got him in, caught Jimmy inside the 40-yard line to the 37 and down to the 36.
Congratulations to Jimmy Smith. That is now his 800th career reception, and what a play to get it on.
This team winning right now, it helps bring so much attention to our franchise, what we did back in the day, like we were talking about, these Hall of Fame conversations. But when we're winning, we see the conversations pick up. So we have noticed that. So obviously, I'm pulling for my team to get to this Super Bowl.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in Jaguars Today on this fine Tuesday. Tony Smith has the week off. I'm Mike Dempsey. Dylan Denmark is here with me. I didn't quite get the refreshing sound there, Dylan, but I did take a drink right before I cracked the mic this morning. How are you, young man?
I'm excellent. I currently rank 28,000 on the college football 26 right now.
Nice. Out of how many? 27,000?
Probably.
How does that work? Just based on your success versus the computer?
No, you're playing online. I don't know how they rank it, but yeah, I went 1-5 yesterday.
You went 1-5, and you're ranked in the top 30,000.
Yeah.
I figure there are a lot more people than that playing that game.
The game first came out yesterday, so it's not that many yet, but
okay, so
I'm about to just let these young bucks just take it out. Yeah. I'm over that game, man.
You're over it.
I'm already over it.
This is what is it again?
College football 26. It came out yesterday.
So you're playing with the Florida Gators, I take it.
I played with them mostly yesterday. Don't like the playbook. I was playing with South Carolina for a little bit. They got a fast quarterback, Lador Sellers. Supposed to be a first-round pick next year. But, yeah, it's whatever.
All right. 28,000, Dylan Denmark. Keep us posted on your climb. 1-5. Is it I've never played an online environment versus anybody in anything. I'm too old for that. We had to actually be in the same room together to play back in my day. I don't think I've ever played anything online. But how does that compare in popularity now? Didn't they bring this back? Was this the one they brought back like a year ago?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Not a lot of my friends play Madden no more, but
no, it's not cool anymore.
Yeah, the NCAA is just the nostalgia. It's the game that was away for 10 years and was taken away from our childhood, and then it came back, and now it's back. So we'll see how long it lasts. But everybody around my age is playing it right now.
Ripped from your hands, man. Back in the day, NHL hockey, like 1994. NHL 94, I think, was the big one on Sega Genesis. Still goes down as one of the great video games, sports video games of all time. We're not going to rank those today. However, we do have a Tuesday top 5 for you. So we like that as we're talking about the top 5 instances, moments, occurrences, games, maybe seasons, I don't know, decisions in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars that you as a Jaguar fan would like a do-over for, okay? And make sure you understand what a do-over is. I thought everybody understood that from, playing whatever game when you're a kid. Do-over for whatever reason. Do-over, interference, something like that. And no, a do-over is you didn't like the outcome, so you want another shot at it. It's not, I want to do it over because I enjoyed it so much the first time, which is what we got from our man Stone Cold this morning. I appreciate him taking the time out to, do the homework and submit 5 items. But that is not what we're going for. We're going for moments that you say, you know what? Had we gone a different way, maybe the future would have turned out better for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll get into that a little bit today. Dylan, I'm not surprised as ESPN is ranking the top 10 players at every position that so far after going through running back and defensive tackle, the Jaguars have not made an appearance on the list. Last year, Travis Etienne, coming off a pretty productive season, at least in terms of touchdowns, was ranked 10th among running backs in that. This year, you've got the top 10, you've got the honorable mentions, and you've got others receiving votes. So basically, every name that gets listed, those are all the people that got a single vote, at least one vote. 21 running backs got a vote. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that nobody on the Jacksonville Jaguars got a vote at the running back position coming off of the season that they had last year. They also did defensive tackle, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that the Jaguars' Eric Armstead, who maybe had he played and stayed at tackle last year, would have been looked at differently. Maybe not. I don't know how he's ever fared really in the past in some of these, but they're doing a different position every single day. And I think tomorrow might be defensive end. So we got a chance to get maybe both guys mentioned, Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, at least receiving votes. I don't know. What sense around the league people have of how good Trayvon Walker is. And I do think, and I think on one hand, it's fair to say that Aiden Hutchinson, when healthy, has proven to be a more productive player in the National Football League, playing the same position, going back-to-back. But regardless of who went after Trayvon Walker's turned out to be a really good football player in his own right, and there are not many guys in the NFL, not many defensive ends. I think the list includes at least one, I think maybe Zach Seiler of the Dolphins as a defensive tackle that have had back-to-back double-digit sack seasons in the last 2 years. So
that's impressive.
I think it is. Trayvon's a really good player. Probably one of the, easily top 5 Jaguars right now?
Right now, for sure, yeah.
Brian Thomas, Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon, maybe your top 3 right now. You hope it turns out to be Trevor Lawrence when it's all said and done, being at least one of your top guys this year. And so there's a lot going into this season, and there's a lot on Liam Cohen's plate to bring Trevor along as quickly as he did Baker Mayfield last year. Lost in the 41 touchdowns. Baker also threw those 16 picks. I think we'd take the 16 if it was offset with 41, right?
Yeah, the interceptions thing is it's all happenstance. Like, it happens when you do it. You don't want to throw interceptions deep in your own territory. You don't want to throw them in the red zone.
Right.
And Baker last year at least threw one interception in the red zone compared to throwing 29 touchdowns, which is insane. I mean, throwing an interception on 3rd and 10, you throw it deep, is essentially like a punt if it gets intercepted. So, everybody looks at the interceptions and thinks that's a bad thing. I would take a gunslinger with a lot of touchdowns and a lot of picks.
Yeah, I saw a stat yesterday. Speaking of gunslinging, right? I mean, Baker Mayfield had a bunch of yards, obviously, to go with the touchdowns. But the Bucs had the most yardage of anything. I wish I had the stat in front of me of passes that were caught behind the line of scrimmage, that the Bucs produced over 1,000 yards of passing offense on plays that were caught behind the line of scrimmage last year. And in recent years, it was the highest total. Like Mahomes and Kansas City had a year like that recently as well. And it makes me wonder, exactly how this offense is going to look. You do have a field stretcher. You got several. I mean, obviously, Brian Thomas Jr., I think we believe, is rounding into a guy who is going to be able to do everything that you ask of an alpha receiver in the National Football League. There's no question he can stretch the field. Probably one of the best deep ball players at wide receiver already in the National Football League. But if there's going to be a calling card for De'Ami Brown, it's speed, 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 right? We keep hearing about this. Liam Cohen has talked about him recently, like, hey, he can do things in terms of run after the catch that I can't coach. You can't coach a guy to miss 2 or 3 people. You either have that ability and those instincts or you don't. But he has definitely got speed, and Trevor Lawrence has praised him for being in the right place at the right time. We know Travis Hunter has got speed as well. And, we talked about it yesterday. I know the guys on the drill were talking about it late in the show today about the comments Travis Kelce made about how teams are going to try to attack Travis Hunter and wear him out when he's out there on defense. They're just going to run go routes all day. And I don't think I think that's a gross oversimplification of that. But with all that speed on the field, man, if you get a running back with the ability to catch the ball and turn upfield quickly, you can probably make some significant hay out of that. So I wonder how big of a feature of the Jaguars offense that short passing game is going to be this year, because you're not going to be throwing deep to intermediate or intermediate to deep all the time. The Bucs definitely had guys that could get down the field. Mike Evans, I don't know if I can classify him as a burner at this stage, but he is so good at everything he does, and he's got that size that he can high point balls still, and he is an effective deep threat. I think Chris Godwin's thought of as more of an intermediate route runner. So maybe they had to do it a little bit more by design in Tampa last year, but I did find that fascinating. That's a big chunk. It was probably more than 20% of Baker Mayfield's passing yardage last year, because he was up in the mid 4,000s last year, coming from passes that he just dumped behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, a lot of the screen game too, by the way.
The screen game as well, right? You're in the slot, you take a half step back, you turn around, you catch the ball. It doesn't just have to be the running backs. There's no doubt about that. Shovel passes, those count as well. And, when you've got speed receivers on the outside, get a lot of motion going, a lot of misdirection, put some pressure on the defense. I know you've seen it. I mentioned it with Dan and Jeff this morning. Thought about doing a bonus question today. CBS Sports, I get it. We all try to come up with kind of crazy cockamamie ideas to get clicks or to get listens, more time on task with the listening audience, whatever the case may be. But in light of the Kevin Durant deal, which ended up involving 7 different teams with his move from Phoenix to Houston, which is kind of crazy, really, when you look at what some of the teams got in there. But they tried to come up with 5 NBA-style trade proposals for the NFL. So I'm like, all right, all this is going to be, ridiculously multi-team kind of stuff. You've got 4 or 5 teams trying to make this all happen. But the third one on there was basically just Jags and Buccaneers making a deal almost straight up with Trevor Lawrence going to Tampa for Baker Mayfield and a conditional 3rd-round pick. Look, I feel like we got enough 3rd-round picks, conditional 3rd-round picks. We got the 2 extras from Detroit. Look, I'm not saying you could hand me 5 3rd-round picks. I'd take every single one of them, right, if you're just giving them out. But Baker Mayfield, yes, he flourished in that offense for a year, but he's also bounced around the league a little. Now, he's been productive most of the stops that he's been in. So I don't know what it is that has kept several teams from committing to him longer than they did. Just think of how different things could have gone for Cleveland if they had stuck with Baker Mayfield instead of giving up all those assets to get Deshaun Watson. Then he went to Carolina. He went to the Rams, where briefly was connected there with Liam Cohen, played well, came in like right away and started in this first week and played pretty well for Los Angeles. And then it was fantastic last year for the most part, the interceptions notwithstanding, for the Tampa Bay Bucs, man. But like I would say, Dylan, if you're being honest, knowing the system, I think if you had Baker Mayfield for just this year in Jacksonville, I think there's a greater likelihood that the Jaguars would win more games than they will this year. That doesn't mean I'm making that deal. That's really short-sighted. Trevor Lawrence is 25. Baker Mayfield's already 30 years old. And, that's not necessarily old for a quarterback. You consider yourself a Braves fan, Denmark, right?
Yes.
All right. You obviously, I don't know if you remember watching John Smoltz, but you remember John Smoltz.
I got the tail end of his career, so I didn't see him in his prime, but yes, I did see him.
But Hall of Famer, right? And just phenomenal starter for the longest time, closer for the longest time as well, was great in both roles. Iconic Brave of the 90s, along with Maddox and Glavine, right? That 3-man, top of the rotation kind of thing. Well, he got dealt to the Braves, I want to say 87. The Detroit Tigers were chasing a division title that year, trying to win the World Series, obviously. But they traded for Doyle Alexander, who was a serviceable, decent starter, and more established. And Smoltz was a minor leaguer at that point, but still probably highly thought of. And he was dealt to Atlanta in that deal. And we all remember, well, I say we all remember, if you've been around for a while, the early days of 1010XL and going back beyond that, Jacksonville Suns broadcaster Joe Block, right, who was a big Tigers fan growing up. Now he is the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's doing fantastic. He's in the majors, all this. And I used to do games with him for the Suns for a few years, and I brought it up to him once about how that was a bad deal from Detroit's perspective. And he tried to argue, no, they got what they wanted, which was a division title, which felt good in the moment. And they did win the division. They didn't win the World Series. And that was kind of it for their contention for the near term. And John Smoltz went on to the Hall of Fame, and he tried to say, no, it was a good deal for both teams because Detroit got what they wanted, which was a division title. But that is a good lesson to not set your sights that low for that immediate return. So thought about doing a question. You can submit this on the text line if you want today. Just give us one word to describe, from a Jaguar perspective, the idea of trading Trevor Lawrence to the Bucs for Baker Mayfield and a conditional third-round pick. So you're talking about like pick 95 or something like that, right? It's going to be I don't know what the condition would be on it. Maybe if Baker performs to a certain degree, maybe it improves to a second rounder. I'm not sure, but let's just call it a middle of the third round selection. Not doing it might feel good in December of this year if the Jags, fail to get to the playoffs. Maybe we'd say, oh, you know what? Here are the Bucs winning the division again in the NFC South. But I think for the long term, and that's the picture you've got to have here. It's one thing if you're pushing all your chips in because you think like you're like the 99 Jaguars and you were that close, and the only step up from that point is to get to and win a Super Bowl, right? There's a lot of steps up along the way for the Jags. I'm of the mind that I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence for an extra 5 years, potentially, of career than I would for the immediate gratification of getting Baker Mayfield or anybody else in the short. I say anybody else within reason in the short term. They're not handing out those Patrick Mahomes guys anytime soon. All right, we've got plenty of audio. Josh Allen on Fox Sports 1 this week, talking a myriad of Jaguar issues as training camp approaches, so we'll hear from him. Tuesday Top 5 is out there. Dylan and I will do our countdown today. We'd love to hear your thoughts on 5 moments or occurrences. Maybe they're games. They could be entire seasons. They could be whatever you want. Just something you want to press the do-over button. You didn't like the way it came out. What are 5 moments in Jaguar history? We'll call them moments that you would like a second chance at from a Jacksonville perspective. We're getting that and more coming up today. We invite your calls, as always, at 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hit us up with your thoughts at that same number, 904-641-1010. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat there if you want to give us some feedback, if you want to watch the program as well as listen to it. We also stream on Twitter and Facebook, and you can find us out there on social media, including today's question of the day presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate at MD_1010XL and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
All right, let's come back. Let's hear a little bit from Jaguars pass rusher Josh Allen. I do believe defensive end is next up on the list for ESPN's top 10 rankings, so we'll have a chance to see tomorrow if Josh Allen is getting the love after coming down from a 17.5 sack season and failing to hit double figures last year. That's for the future. Right now, you've got Jaguars Today, Mike Dempsey, Dylan Denmark, Tony Smith has the week off. You're listening to 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for my friends at Dandy Foods. Look, I've been talking about Dandy and promoting them for over a decade now, and almost every time I talk about their delicious products or the fact that they're a family business serving Jacksonville for almost 70 years. One thing I probably don't say enough is this: they're never frozen, folks. It's always made fresh and delivered fresh, and that's the difference. You're going to see other brands out there, but they're more than likely just thawed out and cold fresh. You can tell in the bread especially. It's not all dry and crumbly when you open a Dandy sandwich. It's soft. Nobody wants a dried out sandwich. The Thompson family's creator of Dandy understand that. And for me, when I see the little dude on the logo with the cane, it tells me I'm going to get a trusted brand, a quality sandwich with fresh bread, fresh meats, cheeses, great variety, prices that stay in a reasonable range. So the next time you're out and about and hungry in Duval, look for that Dandy label. And when you are, do what I do. Stop in at a Circle K store and make yours a Dandy. And do it today.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL.
That's like a field trip to heaven.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Tired of high energy bills? Well, replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. Don't miss Renewal by Anderson's summer sale. Buy 4 windows or doors and get the 5th one free. No money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires July 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Joe C. for Hard Rock Bet, where things are heating up big time for the boys of summer. Download the Hard Rock Bet app right now and swing for the fences with your favorite baseball team and the best odds at Hard Rock Bet. And don't forget, new customers who bet $5 get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Easy to navigate, play to win. Head to Hard Rock Bet right now with odds on every sport waiting for you. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Are you living with diabetic neuropathy? That pain and numbness in your hands or feet? What about chronic knee or shoulder pain? Maybe you've tried various treatments, but they've been ineffective. Now there's a solution. Dr. Ferdinand Formoso specializes in advanced pain management and offers breakthrough neuromodulation treatments for those conditions. His innovative treatments target the source of your pain, offering relief where medications may fall short. All procedures are performed outpatient with no hospitalization required. Just a chance for you to feel and live better. If you want to learn more, Dr. Formoso is hosting free informational classes where he'll explain the benefits of neuromodulation therapies and how they can help eliminate your pain. Spaces are limited, so call to reserve your spot now with offices on the South Side, West Side, and Jacksonville Beach. Relief is possible with Formoso Spine and Joint Pain Specialists.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
The first half champion Jumbo Shrimp are home this week at Five Star Ballpark. Tonight is a Stallmeyer 2 for Tuesday with Dollar Dogs. Tomorrow is Charity Begins at Home featuring Dreams Come True, and the weekend kicks off with Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. JTA presents Friday fireworks to the first 2,000 fans to the main gate on Saturday. Get a Jumbo Shrimp Mummy Hawaiian shirt presented by Swisher. Kids round the bases after Sunday's game.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 3:20 for the latest in sports injuries. From all the big names in the game, who's MIA, who's coming back from injury. Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 3:20.
1010XL is excited to support an evening of all-star fun as comedian David Spade joins MC and Gator basketball great Patrick Young to induct Olympic swimmers Nancy Hogshead and Ryan Murphy, golf legend Jim Furyk, and the iconic Lizard King into the Sawyer Sports Foundation's Jacksonville Sports Hall of Fame, presented by the Nimnick family of dealerships. Saturday, July 26th at the Community First Igloo. For single ticket and table sponsorship, go to JacksonvilleIceman.com.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y summer camps, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Denmark, after a brief hiatus, you and I are back in the fantasy draft rooms together once again. Started the new league yesterday. Who did you just take here? Did you just take another selection?
I took McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Second round.
I like that pick at the spot you got him. You took Puka in the first round?
Yes.
No love for Brian Thomas Jr. there, huh?
Was he available?
He was.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've taken Brian Thomas Jr. and others. I'm like, I just want to switch this.
Sometimes you want to spread the wealth. I get it. There's no question about that. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So we're off and rolling in that one. I don't know. That puts me somewhere north of 50, I think.
I think this is number 7 for me.
These are all leagues, though, that once we're done, we're done. Once you draft, you're done, and then you get what you get as the season goes on. But plenty more of those to come before September gets here. We'll hear from Josh Hines-Allen coming up. It is defensive end day tomorrow at ESPN, as I think that and wide receiver are really the only legit chance is the Jags are going to land a guy in the top 10. I don't think Foye is making the top 10. He hasn't been making the top 10 in those off-ball linebacker rankings, I don't believe, in the last few years. And I see no reason why just another season. It wasn't his best season, in terms of total tackles compiled. It was a solid year again, but Foye not going to get enough love, I don't think, from ESPN to crack the top 10. I would hope Brian Thomas Jr. makes the top 10. And I don't know if I expect Brian Thomas Jr. to make the top 10. I don't know if I expect Josh Hines-Allen. I think it's reasonable to think he could end up in there. We'll see how it goes as the week plays out. In the end, really doesn't make a bit of difference. It just depends on how they play, not what people think of what they're going to do this particular season. Let's see. A few on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures asked for one word to describe, from a Jaguars perspective, the idea that CBS put forth of trading Trevor Lawrence for Baker Mayfield and a conditional third-round pick. Dan just went with no. I got a buck no. That's 2 words, but that's okay. It'll be accepted. Absurd, and several along those lines. Also, several people have mentioned wishing that the Music City Miracle never happened, that the Jags would have a do-over on that, and they feel like the Jags would have a Super Bowl if that didn't happen. Of course, the Music City Miracle, the Titans beat the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs in '99, and then the Jags wouldn't have been playing Tennessee in the AFC Championship game that year. I'll accept it, but I didn't include it in mine. I don't know how you handled it, Dylan, because it's not something that the Jags had any control over one way or the other. They were not involved in that game, so that's more of a grand do-over than anything. But that's okay. If you want to put that in there, we'll certainly take that for the Tuesday Top 5 today. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Got a couple in there, so let's check in and find out what's on their mind at 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. We'll start with Robert. First up on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Robert.
Hey, Mike. I kind of stole my thunder there. I wanted to go with I don't want to see Trevor being traded to Tampa Bay for a 30-year-old Baker Mayfield, because I really want to see what he is like behind this, what I think is a better offensive line, number one. And number two, he's been working out with the receivers, I believe, in the Bahamas. I saw some of that on the Jaguars place, and I really like what I saw on there. And number two, for the do-over, I would like for the referees to go back and do over the 2017 AFC Championship, because I don't think Telvin was down. Okay, that's me. I'm out. Thanks.
All right, appreciate it. I don't think Telvin was down or Miles Jack was down in that game. But it's okay. You know what? Not everybody's on the radio every day, Dylan. We get nervous sometimes. Miles Jack wasn't down is going to feature prominently, I think, today. All right, just call that correctly. Nothing else has to happen but have that be called correctly, and the Jags are up 17 points with less than 14 minutes to go in the game. That's what they'd be facing. Now, does that guarantee they win? No, but I'd like to take my chances with that. By the way, losing to Tennessee 3 times is really kind of the low stain in Jaguar history, considering it was the best season in Jaguar history. Otherwise, they didn't lose another game all year. Couldn't get over their division rival. I wonder how we would feel, because we wouldn't know the pain of losing to Tennessee for the 3rd time if Buffalo had beaten them and Rob Johnson had knocked the Jaguars out of the playoffs en route to the Super Bowl. Now, you can say, well, it never would have happened. Tennessee was the only team that could beat us. Hey, things happen in sports, right? And we'll never know how that would have played out, but I wonder how people would have reacted to that over the years, and if that would be equally, just sticking in everyone's collective craw the way the Tennessee loss in the 99 or the championship game after the 99 season. 641-1010. Robert, thank you. Let's go back to the Checkmate Coatings phone lines and welcome Philip into the program. Philip, good morning to you.
Mike Dempsey, I was perfectly going to mind my own business, listen to 1010XL, and the whole neighborhood does, but what would I want to do over? Hey, in 1999, bro, I was 38. I was still getting it done. I was sitting in my home stadium playing the Tennessee Titans. When you play in the AFC Championship game in your house, you take care of business. And Travis Kelce's comment about you wear the Heisman Trophy, he expects we don't have a pass rush. Hey, Josh Hines, Allen, bro, earn your money. One more thing. Duval!
All right, Philip. I think I got your point there on the Travis Hunter thing. You say, hey, if you're going to run deep all day, then, Josh Hines, Allen, Trayvon Walker, Emmanuel Ogbah, those guys take advantage and hopefully get to the quarterback a little bit quicker. Again, Travis Kelce, I don't think was trying to make some controversial statement. It was pretty matter of fact, right? He's on that podcast, Bussin' with the Boys. Don't know if you've heard of that, bussin'. It's a pretty popular term these days. But
you don't say.
Yeah, well, I've heard from people who are in the know, like yourself. But anyway, it's like, hey, I do think that teams are going to try to do this. You want to play both ways? Let's find out how good your conditioning is. Again, I just don't think that conditioning is going to be the issue with Travis Hunter. I mean, I don't think it's going to be lung capacity, right? And the ability to just sprint up and down the field. Now, you can't do it nonstop, but no one is going to run a guy deep on every single play. We talked about it yesterday. What if they're playing zone and he just hands you off to the next guy? He doesn't have to run with you. What if he's, guarding a guy who's your number one receiver or whatever, and the play calls for something else? I mean, I almost relish the idea of teams taking themselves out of what they normally want to do to overemphasize this idea that we need to wear down Travis Hunter, who, by the way, at the end of the day, and I understand where he was drafted, Dylan, depending on playing time, could end up as like your 3rd leading receiver this year. Brian Thomas Jr., I fully expect to be number 1. Is it crazy to think De'Ami Brown could outproduce Travis Hunter just based on like receiving yardage? I don't think it's crazy to think that. Saw a number today, Travis Hunter, on yards per reception was something like 7th last year in his own conference. Yeah, but there's a lot of factors that go into those things. But I do believe that, teams will probably try to run him deep a little bit. I just don't think it's as simple as that. And I don't have any issue with Travis Kelce throwing that out there. I just think it was kind of put on the spot. Hey, what do you think about this? And he gave the best answer he could in that moment. I think it's a lot more nuanced than what he talked about, though. Let's get Ryan on the west side before we hit the break. Next up on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. Ryan, good morning to you.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Excellent.
So the do-over I wish the Jaguars could get is that final drive before halftime in the 2022 playoffs against the Chiefs when Chad Henne took it all the way down the field and scored.
That's a good one.
I think if we just stopped them, I think we'd end up winning the Super Bowl that year.
You never know. I mean, they certainly might have, and that's a really good. The problem with this, and Ryan, thank you for the call, Dylan, is we have way too many things we can point to. what could have been, right, in that situation. But how disgusting was that when you've knocked Mahomes out, at least temporarily out of the game? You got Henny, I think, starting at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, they were inside their own 5.
Right?
To start that drive.
And then Chad Henne just takes him right down the field. I mean, Chad Henne, of all people, I have nothing personal against Chad Henne. Just former Jaguar who was never as good as you hoped he would be in your uniform and coming up huge in a moment like that. It's just, man. It is what it is. Ryan, thank you for that. That one did not make my list, but I certainly understand why it made Ryan's and maybe others as well. It's going to be interesting seeing how you and I compare, Dylan, because we've got the age gap between us. Did you stick to things that were more in your recent memory, or did you go a little historical on it as well?
4 of the 5 were recent memory. 1 was right when I was born.
All right.
It's not going to be hard to figure that one out.
No, it's not. All right. Well, we'll get to all that coming up. Let's hear from Jaguars pass rusher Josh Hines-Allen on the other side. Appeared on Fox Sports 1 earlier this week and talked about a lot of things, not just Travis Hunter, by the way. Trevor Lawrence, Liam Cohen, expectations and all heading into training camp. That's coming up next. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Dylan Denmark here with you on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Ever wonder how Dan and Jeff got hired at 1010XL?
It's our new lounge act.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
What do they do? Scare the audience to death?
The Drill.
That's funny.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window
World, simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
You wouldn't drive your car 50,000 miles without an oil change. So why are you ignoring your septic tank? That thing's working around the clock, taking every flush, shower, and mystery casserole down the line. Eventually, it fills up. And when it does, you do not want to find out the hard way. Don't wait for the stink. Septic tanks need to be pumped every 3 to 5 years. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule your septic pump out with the pros at Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, Jacksonville, need a fence and ready to save? At Superior Fence and Rail, you'll lock in 5% off your fence project when you sign by the end of July. A limited time offer for savings and peace of mind this summer. Now accepting appointments for a free estimate. So act fast and get 5% off your entire fence project when you finalize by July 31st. Cannot be combined with other offers. New contracts only.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has branched off from on-road to off-road. Give us the latest on what they've got.
They've got the 250 and the 450. Rick Carmichael designed these bikes himself, and they are bad to the bone.
So you're talking about a really cool effect from a bike off-road that Triumph had on-road forever.
It is, and it's out there winning races, and it is fun to ride.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville, their showroom on Atlantic near Regency, or online on their Facebook page.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Early 80s, YouTube. Like that. All right, a lot on the text line right now, Dylan Denmark. Let's see here. Kelsey's idea is also going to wear out the O-line for the team throwing deep each play as well. Well, just because you run a guy deep doesn't mean you have to throw it deep on every play. So I'll say, I mean, you know, there are field stretching decoys out there with the intent that you're really not going to try to hold the ball that long. And but the guy who's covering that guy can't afford to guess that play is going to go underneath. So I get the idea of what Kelsey's talking about. I just don't think the practicality of it is going to work out. Let's see. Another one, I understand the thinking of sending Hunter along, but it's not practical. But, hey, if the Bengals want to take Jamar Chase out of the game by just running wind sprints, go for it. That's the other side of it, right? I mean, who is Travis Hunter covering, and how important is he in your game plan? Now, we may sit here and go, well, Travis Hunter's trying to be a full-time two-way player. A full-way two-time player? No. A full-time two-way player. And maybe Tyson Campbell's going to end up covering the top receiver most weeks. Anyway, regardless, I'm pretty sure that the second guy in your game plan is pretty important to you as well. And if Travis Hunter's starting on the outside, that's who he's going to be covering most times. Now, you know, sometimes he'll be in the slot, what have you. Speaking of the slot, 3rd and 18. When I say 3rd and 18 to you, Dylan, what does that conjure up? Anything?
I know something. It's not coming. My mind is blank.
I think it's in the Miles Jack wasn't down game. I think it's Danny Amendola converted 3rd and 18.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? Brady to Amendola. Somebody said that one was the more galling thing because that was totally within the Jags' control as opposed to being in the hands of the referees. I think it's a fair point. No question about it. And one last one before we get to Josh Hines-Allen. On that drive that Ryan brought up in the last segment, Chad Henne comes in off the bench. I went back to refresh my memory, and somebody pointed out on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, got to get those plugs, that not only did Henne lead him to a touchdown, Jags had a penalty on the first play. I think it was Foye who picked him off. Very first play, right? We would have been set up deep in Kansas City territory, down only 3 at that point. It was 10-7. Kelsey scored in the first quarter. Christian Kirk with the answer from Trevor Lawrence. Harrison Butker, a 50-yard field goal, and then Henne led the drive that resulted in Travis Kelce catching a 1-yard pass, giving the Chiefs a 17-7 lead in a game that ended up losing by 7. Right? And people point, Jamal Agnew's drop in that game. There are a lot. That's the thing about a do-over. It's tough to all even agree on one moment in the same game that made the most impact in terms of, not getting the outcome you desired. In this case, losing and not advancing in the playoffs. Who knows? How about not give up a touchdown to Marquez Valdez-Scantling as well in that game? And then just because MVS doesn't score all that often. All right, let's get to Josh Hines-Allen on FS1 earlier this week. And look, I'll be honest, I love Travis Hunter. I love all things Travis Hunter. I feel like we just heard Josh Hines-Allen, Dylan, with Rich Eisen talking about Travis Hunter. We're still going to hear him talk about him to some degree, but we're going to skip some of this because it's a lot of stuff, a lot of ground that he's already gone over. And again, I get it. If we had Josh Hines-Allen in tomorrow, we'd ask him, what do you think about Travis Hunter? This guy's trying to play both ways in the National Football League. Can it be done? But at a certain point, I don't need to hear the same guy in the Jags have to answer the same question over and over and over again. And again, understandable why Travis Hunter is the new attraction in town. He's the lightning rod. He's, some people think, already the face of the franchise for the Jacksonville Jaguars without having played a game. So you're going to get asked about it. But on FS1, Josh Hines-Allen was asked first about the culture that his head coach, Liam Cohen, is trying to create here in Jacksonville.
I mean, I just think it's, when you think about our culture, I think it's just competitive, having fun, and being what you're supposed to do, doing what you're supposed to do. I think Coach Cohen has been against a lot of successful offenses, and, you can tell he has that demeanor. He's been a coach his whole life, and his father learned from his father. So I just think, it's aggressive. He brought the right coaches in to help him out, and I'm excited to get after it.
Of course, Josh went to Kentucky, right? Liam Cohen had a brief stopping the University of Kentucky, but that connection apparently prompted some coaches who coached with Liam Cohen at Kentucky to reach out to Josh Allen once the hiring became official.
When we hired him, I got all my coaches back in Kentucky was raving about him. They was like, you're going to love him. I have my defensive coordinator there now, Coach Brad White, called me and just like, yeah, you're going to be there this year during OTAs. And I was like, man, I already planned on doing it, be there to help him out and just be more present with this progress.
That's interesting. What is that? You're going to be there during OTAs?
Yeah, and he's talked about that before, too. I don't know what that means.
Right,
OTAs
like Liam Cohen's going to demand it? Well,
Right.
he can't, He can't. I think it's the right thing to do when you have a new coach, new coaching staff. It's much more important for Josh Hines-Allen to spend time with Anthony Campanile. He's the one who's going to be directing his side of the football. But regardless, when it's new like that, I appreciate the fact that it is voluntary. And we say voluntary with the air quotes because a lot of guys on the roster cannot afford, if you're competing, like Anton Harrison can't be taken off OTAs.
No,
right?
It's only for the elite guys that who've
been paid
the contracts.
Yeah.
Yes, for the next couple of years.
Right. You wouldn't expect it from your quarterback. Right? You would hope that your quarterback's there, that he's not the Aaron Rodgers route. And like Aaron Rodgers.
Favre look.
Well, Aaron Rodgers won 4 MVPs. Who am I to criticize him? But I feel like the quarterback has a bigger burden. He's the leader of the football team. He needs to be there for these kind of things. I'm not saying you can ever not have a single day off, but man, I didn't, the that mini camp didn't coincide with my trip to Egypt well for me, so I really wanted to go see the pyramids. Like, the pyramids are going anywhere, you know? I don't know. Things like that. I expect Trevor Lawrence to be there. It is voluntary, but the quarterback is one guy who can get away with it. What are you going to do? You know? But I don't think you pay a guy. I would hope that organizationally you say, look, are we going to invest in this guy? Is he the type of guy who is going to be there as the leader of this football team? I don't think it's as important for other positions because not everybody on either side of the ball relies on that one guy like they do the quarterback on offense. Anyway, with that, Josh Hines Allen asked if, in his opinion, Trevor Lawrence gets the proper credit that he deserves.
I mean, I think
I like him a lot, too, man.
I love Trevor. He's my quarterback. I got his back no matter what. I think it's all up to him. I think wherever he wants us to be, he's going to take us there. You know, I love Trevor at the end of the day. You know, we all got a job to do. But, again, what Coach Cohen is doing, he's not only hyping him up and pushing him, but the offensive line has to play better. Mm-hmm. The running backs, we're going to have to run this ball effectively. You know, in order for him to do what we need to do, we got BTJ, you know, who's already solidified himself as one of the top receivers. And, again, that takes the pressure off of Travis going into a situation where, you know, he doesn't have to be the number one guy on that side of the ball. So, again, that helps Trevor develop into the guy that we all know he can be. But I think it's just maximizing everybody else around him. And I think that's where we're at.
Did Josh Hines Allen answer the question that was asked?
No, it was a politician.
Right. I mean,
he's like this. He's good. We're going to go where he wants to. We believe in him. And then
I love Trevor. That's my guy. Ride or die. Right. But, and I don't think it's unfair anything he said, by the way. You know, you can be that teammate that goes, oh, yeah, he's, you know, top 5 in the league, regardless. Well, then now I'm not going to take the next words out of your mouth seriously because he's not there. Right. So don't be just a blind homer. So, you know, on occasion, sure, you're going to do that. You're going to rally around your guy, right? Especially like in the aftermath of a close, bitter loss, something like that. Hey, man, I'll take this guy 100 times out of 100, whatever the case. But he basically said, look, this is up to Trevor, right? And then he's talked about all the elements that need to be in place to help support Trevor, but it really does come back to it being about Trevor. Okay? I mean, you know, like last year, Etienne and Bigsby, they ran behind the same line. I'm not saying they had the exact same blocking every time, but generally, they had the same help. And Bigsby was nearly a yard better in average yards per carry last year. That's a direct comparison. So, yeah, a better offensive line would help Travis Etienne bring his numbers up. But it would help Tank Bigsby, presumably, as well, right? So, you know, for Trevor, he does need to play better. It's not just about the pieces around him. But I did not hear that, you know, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't from Josh. Like, he clearly backed this guy. He said he loved him a couple of times. He put that in there. But, you know, like, I feel like he's saying, look, the opportunity is there. I think he can be that. I think he can do that. But to say that he's not getting the proper credit, well, you know, when he has played well, I think he's been somewhat recognized. Maybe he gets a little bit of the, well, they're in Jacksonville. He's been hurt a lot. They haven't won enough. He was the number 1 overall pick. So maybe there's a little of that extra piling on that comes. But I don't think, for the most part, it's been horribly unfair. Trevor Lawrence right now, maybe a middle-of-the-pack quarterback in the National Football League. Does he have the tools to be more than that? Absolutely. But I don't think, by not saying he's top 10 at the moment, that is not giving him credit that he deserves. I don't think he's earned that at this point in time. And Josh Hines Allen didn't box himself into a spot. He was a little political about it. He was very supportive and recognized the fact that it takes more than one guy to get the job done. But same time, let's not go crazy and say just because I play with this guy, he is absolutely the best at what he does. All right, we got a couple more thoughts from Josh Hines Allen. We'll see if we can squeeze them in on the other side. We got to get to our countdown of our Tuesday top 5. We'll do that next hour as well. Top 5 moments, occurrences, seasons, decisions, what have you, in Jaguars history that you would love to see the team have a do-over on What are those? Dylan and I will count hours down. Keep yours coming in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, or hit us up on social media as well. Adam D_1010XL at 1010XL Denmark. Halfway home, this is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. The action. The motion.
You see that acceleration.
Feel the active emotion of live play-by-play.
It's amazing how much energy.
On 1010XL.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since 94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Hey, Hicken here, and you know I'm going to talk about skin. Yeah, it's hot outside, folks. The oven is on. Temps are in the 90s, and it's only getting hotter. I love the summer, but my skin doesn't. I do my best with dry fit shirts, big floppy hats, plenty of water. My secret weapon, though, the sunscreen. I use it regularly. Maybe you should as well. Look, I've also been seeing docs at Peaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. I'm telling you, it could save your life. Book your appointment today at peachesdermatology.com.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy. Why so glum?
Stinky ice cubes, Jason. It's all downhill from here.
What?
The tap water in my place smells kind of funky. Funky tap water makes funky ice cubes. I meet a nice girl, invite her back to my place for a cocktail, and blow my whole romantic gesture with a mojito that smells like dog's feet.
Wait, I can totally make you way cooler.
I'm not taking your charity ice cubes, Jason. I have my pride.
Your pride is safe. Our plumbers can be at your house the day you call and install a whole home water purification system. Water tastes better, dishes come out cleaner, even your hair feels better after you shower.
Ooh, the ladies love a man with soft hair, don't they, Jason?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend every day worried about the water in your own home, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y, summer camps every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Jacksonville Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The Jacksonville Jaguars have announced their 2025 training camp open dates at Miller Electric Center. For all practices at the Miller Electric Center, parking lots will open at 7 a.m., gates will open at 7:45, and practice is expected to start at 8:30 a.m. The open practice dates include Wednesday, July 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th, before reopening on Sunday, the 27th, with NFL Back Together Sunday with a rookie poster giveaway. The 28th of July will be the first full day of pads. There will also be opening days on July 29th, August 3rd, and August 5th. Right now, 87 degrees at 10:57. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, you just heard our man. Is that JR? That's RJ.
Are you RJ or JR?
RJ.
He says RJ.
All right. He just went through the open training camp dates. I'm about to tweet it out. Jags just sent out a little PR email. I just got to make sure I got enough characters available here, Dylan. I got to shorten some of these days into abbreviations to make it work. But regardless, the Jags will have, let's see by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 open training camp practices. One of them is exclusive to season ticket holders on Friday, July 25th. I will be watching the Fantastic Four that day. I've already decided, and not sure what time all these practices are going to be. I don't know if they included that in the email. They're usually, morning starts regardless. I'll have this.
Practice is expected to start at 8:30 a.m.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's what the email says.
All right. Well, that's what I get for trying to do multiple things at one time without seeing here. I just got to abbreviate one more day, and I'll tweet this out. And I'm sure others have done it already. It's out there. I'm not like that guy that has to break the breaking news. But since you're listening, Jaguars open training camp dates, Wednesday, July 23rd, Thursday, July 24th, Friday, again, that's a season ticket holder day on the 25th. That's Sunday. It's NFL Back Together Sunday with a rookie poster giveaway. So you want some merch featuring, I don't know, Caleb Bransaw, Wyatt Milam. I suppose they'll put Travis Hunter on that poster, is my guess. Monday, the 28th of July, first day in full pads, and they'll also be open the following Tuesday to the public. Sunday, August 3rd, Tuesday, August 5th is the final open training camp practice.
And then the scrimmage will be held Friday, August 1st.
That's right, 7 o'clock, right?
7 p.m., yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is correct. Good addition to that. So there you have it. I guess that if you're a season ticket holder, that's 9 opportunities to see them on the field in some capacity. And I don't know how many of those will end. Like, first day in full pads will be the 28th, so I'm assuming the 29th will not be in full pads. Hopefully, obviously you'd think the scrimmage will be in full pads or whatever you're calling it. They call it the stadium scrimmage, and then maybe hopefully one of those last couple days, the 3rd or the 5th, or maybe both. We'll find out. As Tony Baselli said, they're going to make it as tough as they are allowed to make it on these players. And, I think generally that's what you do when you come in and you're the new guy in town. You don't want to go easy to hard. You want to go hard at everybody as much as possible. You can always ease up later on, but you got to set that tone a little bit. Not that Liam Cohen doesn't strike you as like a taskmaster, like he's a constant screamer and yeller. He's just talking about what the level of expectation and performance is going to be with these guys. All right, before we get back to Josh Hines Allen, we'll get our countdown to the Tuesday Top 5 coming up this hour as well. Dylan, let's go around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
All right, only a couple of items for you today. Nearly 2 years to the date after tearing an ACL in a jet ski accident, Nyheim Hines is looking to get back in the NFL. I think we have a pretty crowded running back room at this point in time, but was a good kick returner back in his day as well. Good receiver out of the backfield. He thinks his knee is fully ready to go, and he's looking for that opportunity to prove it, and it would be his first game in the National Football League since 2022. That's tough, bro. Coming off a major injury, running back, haven't played in a couple of years. Good luck to you, Nyheim Hines, but I'll be skeptical. And do you watch the quarterback series, or did you watch season 1 of the quarterback series?
Yeah, the first one they had was Marcus Mariota.
Cousins? Wasn't Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins and somebody else. I can't remember. Yeah, I watched the first one. It was decent. I might watch
season
this one.
2 comes out beginning today on Netflix. Going to feature Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins is in that one. Was he? He was in last year's, right? We said based on this graphic, that's what it appears. I know Burrow's in it.
Patrick Mahomes was in the first one. Yeah, because they showed talking about Chad Henne. They showed the injury when he got hurt toward the end of the year when they won the Super Bowl. Whenever they played the Jags, they had like not insider footage, but they had footage of it.
Right,
like him going to the locker room and all that. Yeah, that was season 1. Mahomes,
behind the scenes
Mariota,
stuff.
and Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
All right, well, look for that on Netflix if you're a Netflix subscriber as soon as today. All right, we got a couple more cuts here we want to get in from Josh Hines Allen before we move on to the Tuesday Top 5. Again, if you want to submit yours in any of the ways you can give us feedback, Tuesday Top 5, looking for the top 5 do-over moments you'd like to have back from a Jacksonville Jaguar perspective over the last 30 years. And we'll roll through hours coming up here shortly. But where we left off here, as I mentioned, so litany of, hey, guys, what do you think about your teammate, Travis Hunter? But this one is a little bit more specific. You know, we talked about Travis Kelce making those comments, and they're getting a lot of buzz around the NFL because, right, quite frankly, nobody's really talking much. We had a rundown yesterday. I did our first show back on the Fantasy Channel on Sirius XM, Dylan, and it was, like all the audio we had available from the last week. And the Travis Kelce stuff was the most compelling because everyone's kind of in the shadows right now doing their own thing until training camp opens up, but focused in on we're going to test Travis Hunter's conditioning. We're going to run somebody deep at him, or that's what Kelce thinks he expects to happen on a weekly basis with Hunter to find out if they can, Travis Hunter, can keep up with that pace and still play 100-plus snaps in the National Football League. So Josh Hines Allen was asked, not, wow, what do you think about Travis Hunter, so much as specifically, have you noticed his conditioning level, and has that been something that has stood out to you in the practices that you've had together?
Right now, OTAs is everything's broken up, so they got offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, and the only time we see them is during team, and that's 4-play rack. I think once we get into training camp, we put the pads on. Now we can start to see, what we can do. Everybody can do everything and, just jerseys. Yeah. But when we can put the shoulder pads on and really get into that mindset, and then we get into that 100-degree weather.
I was going to say that real Jack, that dual heat, so with the burnt coffee beans. It's different, bro.
It's serious. Right now.
It's nasty.
About 90
I played
right
for 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Nasty.
I'm excited for Travis, though.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him. And again, we talked about Travis, offensive side. We got BTJ on the defense side. We got Tyson Campbell. You know, I think Tyson's having his best offseason that I've seen him have since he's been there. And when you have a guy like that at the cornerback position that could take away the number one receiver, then that leaves Travis at a position to where he could just go in and just play ball and get a lot of opportunities. But we also got a good secondary this year as well. We brought a lot of key players that I'm excited to play with. I know our defensive coordinator is going to put them in positions to make it up, to do good for us up front. And we just got to get home, man. Yeah.
A couple of things here. Hey, again, I kind of like there's a little bit measured approach. Hey, look, anybody can do anything when the pads are not on, right? And not that we are disrespecting Travis Hunter, but let's at least make him earn a little bit of the act. I'm not going to heap all this praise on, wow, this guy can run around when we're not wearing pads, right? So I definitely understand that. That's Will Blackman you heard chiming in and complaining about the burnt coffee smell. Does he not know?
The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever.
Will. I mean, I actually love the smell of the Maxwell House plant. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't think it's burnt.
I think anybody that's from here enjoys the smell. I don't know about anybody that's not from here.
What do they used to have here in Jacksonville that everybody said, was it a paper mill? Was that the thing? Was it way back in the day? We had in DeLand, we had some kind of orange juice cannery or something. You want to talk about something that stunk. Gotta love orange juice, right? It's delightful. It's refreshing, but not the way it smells when it's getting processed, I guess. So anyway, one more here from Josh Hines Allen on all these very important topics. How will Josh Hines Allen himself, try to set the tone for some of these young players that are coming in for the first time as they head into training camp? All right. Let's see if we can get that up there, Dylan. Cut 8. So we'll hear that here. Oh, we got it? All right. Here's Josh Hines Allen on setting the tone for the young guys going into camp.
I think it's just setting the expectations high as soon as we get back. Speaking to the guys, like making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Training camp is going to be huge. I think this is a big year for us. And we can capitalize off this opportunity, man. I don't think we're far away from anybody else. I think we can compete against anybody. And, you add the playmakers we did add, I think we're in a good position. But, again, me as a leader, man, just to come in day one and set that tone early, let them know, like, this is the mentality that we finna play with. This is the conditioning, it's the effort that we need to play with every day. And set that standard and have everybody else follow.
All right, there you go. Josh Hines Allen, training camp, getting here soon. Jaguars announced, and I tweeted out the list of open training camp dates. So they're out there. You'll certainly have them available to you if you're looking for them, as we already ran through them here a moment ago. Not going to go through everything again with the specifics. But if you are a season ticket holder, have as many as 9 opportunities to see them on the practice field or in the stadium for the scrimmage. If you're a non-season ticket holder, it looks like you got 8 chances to do it coming up. One more here on the text line, Dylan. Yes, people mentioned Northside Paper Mill stunk like HE-double hockey sticks. Yes, pulpwood plant in Georgia, the odor came this way. All right, whatever the case may be. That was back in the day. I don't recall that, but I've heard the tales of that. And then one more here, as somebody said on the text line, as if they're the only one. As I've said from day one, I guess this is in terms of the do-overs, right? They should have drafted Aiden Hutchinson instead of Trayvon. That's fine. Is that a top 5 do-over for the Jags?
That is not one of the worst things.
Is that a top 20 draft mistake in Jaguar history? No. I mean, I could come up with 20. Now, off the top of my head, maybe not 20, but just give me 5 minutes to go through the drafts. Easily come up with 20.
And that doesn't mean that we still wouldn't take Aiden Hutchinson over Trayvon.
Yes.
But it's not as much of a mistake as the others.
Right. It's not like saying, wow, we drafted a bust. No, we drafted a really good football player. Aiden Hutchinson, prior to breaking his leg last year, was on pace to have an all-time season, perhaps. But regardless, again, I don't put Trayvon anywhere near that level. I don't, again, would we do it differently? Sure. But if you're talking about the top 5 things you'd like to have back, that doesn't even scratch the surface for me with the Jags. We will tell you what does, though, when we come back. We'll count them down 5 through 1, the moments, the occurrences, what have you that you'd like to have back and done over for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Mike Dempsey, Dylan Denmark, this is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Take advantage. Who doesn't want to save money, right? It's great if you're getting a great product. Pella has fantastic products, right? Best in the biz, according to Consumer Reports. For my taste as well. But right now, 0% financing for 60 months. That's 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com, or you can visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows for quality you can trust and savings you can't miss. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
She's homegrown.
Your father's listening to the radio.
She's Jacksonville's sweetheart.
Oh, it's a little cheesy, but...
And she's one of the boys.
Just behave, okay?
She's Lauren Brooks. Noon to 2 on 1010XL.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
It's a magical phone line. Check this out. It brings you things you can't get anywhere else, like insider insight from sports experts. Listen for the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Check every day on 1010XL.
Duval Fence is looking for the best in fence installers. Check out DuvalFence.com right now and fence in a great job opportunity. From estimates to installers, they're looking for you right now. Log on to DuvalFence.com for all the details. Equal opportunity employer.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius. Or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hacker here, and with 4th of July in the rearview mirror now, all eyes are pointing towards Labor Day and football season. How would you like to drop some weight prior to football season's arrival? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss is your answer. Back in February of 2024, I weighed 317 pounds. In just a couple of short weeks, I was down almost 40 pounds thanks to the great folks of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It's that quick. The coaching you get, the information you get, it's all perfect with Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and they can change your life very, very quickly. If it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, do yourself a favor and go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800. Take it from me, a guy that failed in numerous diet programs over the years. I succeeded with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If I can do it, you can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL is a proud supporter of this year's Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament, the largest fundraiser for marine charities. To join the fun July 10th through 19th at the Jim King Park and Boat Ramp, go to kingfishtournament.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Oh, top 5 time, baby. Dylan, you can't make a definitive list of the top 5 do-over moments in Jaguars history. Like, I've got 5 I feel pretty strong about, but you can convince me that others belong there. You're not going to convince me taking Trey Ray Hutchinson should be anywhere near the top 5, but it all comes down to your perspective. Like, a lot of people say, hey, Music City Miracle, that doesn't happen. And again, I'm not counting that because it didn't really involve the Jaguars until the following week. But Tennessee beat Buffalo on the relay. Why check the dice in? And they go on and knock out the Jags, right? And people are like, oh, we would have won the Super Bowl that year. Maybe. That Greatest Show on Turf team was pretty damn good. With Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce and Marshall Faulk and Torrey Holt and on and on and on. Your boy Kevin Carter on that team, Dylan. London Fletcher. They were pretty good. Hey, we were good too. I'm not saying, I think people just think, it's a laydown. We didn't lose to any other team. Well, you didn't play the Rams that year. So there's no telling, right? But that's kind of the world we're living in today. There's no telling that had that one instance gone the other way, things would have definitely resulted in championships for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But certainly better outcomes. So let's begin the countdown, young man.
Number 5.
All right, I'm going to bat lead off on this one, and I felt like I had to get it in, even though I don't know how much lasting impact there is at this point in time, but the guy who will forever be known on this program as Urban Miller should never have had a seat at the table.
I agree with Urban.
Well, on what? All right? Because, what? It's not like there wasn't evidence of who he was before he got hired here. And this is no kind of revisionist history, Dylan. I said this on the official game broadcast on a post-game late in the season, and Bucky Brooks brought up the possibility after the coaching change already happened, hey, man, maybe Urban Meyer, that's the rumor out there. And I said, literally, I think I said at the time, any other person but him. But really what I meant was any other qualified candidate. I'm not talking about Joe off the street, but any other coach that you would even consider. Give me that over Urban Meyer, who will now be known as Urban Miller forever, because he couldn't get the players' names right. Why should we get his name right? Just brought a dark cloud to this organization. I don't know how much you set back Trevor Lawrence, if at all. You can't keep going to that excuse. It's been a number of years on that. But what an embarrassment to this organization he turned out to be. I mean, look, what happens between you and your wife and any other parties involved, that's kind of on you until you throw it in everyone's face in public. I mean, just what an utter disgusting disaster of a situation that was. And the fact that his name is at all associated with this franchise still makes me throw up in my back of my mouth just a little bit. Hiring Urban Miller, is it the worst thing that ever happened? No, it's only the 5th worst. That's one I'd like a do-over on for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What'd you put at 5?
I had the same at 5, and I went back and looked at the 2020 coaches that were hired that year. Take a list of all the guys that are still at this team. Urban Meyer with the Jags, Saleh with the Jets, Arthur Smith with the Falcons, Brandon Staley with the Chargers, Dan Campbell with the Lions, Sirianni with the Eagles, and David Culley with the Texans. Only 2 of those guys are still with their teams.
Yes.
So it's, yes, Urban Meyer was not the hire, and it's a terrible hire, one of the worst ever in NFL history. But it's like you look at that list, and you're like, okay, where else would you have gone? You know, Dan Campbell going to the Lions, okay.
That would have been fantastic.
Sirianni.
Would have rather had Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
I mean, Arthur Smith's terrible, but I would have rather had, or I don't want a guy I'd rather have a guy who's bad than an embarrassment. Right? He was bad and an embarrassment. He was both. Didn't know his own players, didn't seem to know the league. So unqualified. Now, Culley's another guy who probably wasn't qualified to get a head coaching gig and did. So I'm not talking about the worst of the worst here. I'm just saying, man, look, things work out for a reason. And you could say, hey, if it weren't for that, then we don't move on to Doug Peterson, and he doesn't wear out his welcome in that fashion, and then we wouldn't have had Liam Cohen, who led us to multiple Super Bowls. Who knows how it works out? I still want that decision as a do-over for me. All right, let's move on.
Number 4.
What do you got?
I'm going to say, all right, I'm going there. I'm going to say when they got Trent Baalke, and I'll say when they didn't fire him last year. I know that, you're coming off a good season, and the season in 2023 didn't end the way they wanted it to, and all the fans, I'm surprised this wasn't more on the people's list as much as people talked about it the last 2 years. But the GM is more important than the hiring of a head coach, I think, because the GM is the one that gets all the players. If you look at most teams in the league that are good through a period of time, they've gone through multiple coaches, and they could still be a good team, like you see with Philadelphia with Howie Roseman, and how he had Doug Peterson. Okay, they let him go. They go through another coach, and then they get Sirianni, and they won 2 Super Bowls in the end of the last 10 years. Trent Baalke was not a good GM. Yes, obviously he's had good moments, but there were so many bad moments and so many players that he drafted. And, you just wonder, obviously, you go back and forth of what could happen, but had they gotten rid of Trent Baalke a year ago and gotten at least a decent GM like Adam Peters, who was available a year ago, who's now in Washington, who had been in Denver, been in New England, been at highly successful organizations, you just wonder, could Doug Peterson have stayed here for another year? I'm not saying that I was wanting it to happen, but, what could have been done then?
Would you rather have, you see, here's the thing, and I agree. Look, there are plenty of instances. Tony, I tried to fire Trent Baalke multiple off seasons, and once you reach a point like, okay, Jack's decided not to do it, what am I going to do? Root for him to fail? No, I want for him to succeed. So what if they had gotten rid of Trent Baalke, but instead of trading back, acquiring extra assets, and getting Brian Thomas Jr., they had just stood pat and drafted Dallas Turner, right? I mean, who went at that pick, and that's who Minnesota traded up to get. You know what I mean? I get it. Baalke's tenure lasted way too long here. Somebody on the text line, I think it was, might have been Twitter, I was mentioning to you on the break, said one of the do-over moments is going back to Shad Khan's original press conference with Trent Baalke this year, and he should have fired him right then. Well, look, in the sense, they ended up getting the do-over on that one. Yeah, we didn't do it then, but had they fired him at that moment, do you think we'd have a different coach?
Probably. GM? I think we would have definitely had a different coach.
You do?
GM, I don't know.
Who do you think we would have had? Maybe Ben Johnson?
Ben Johnson. Okay. He was the hotshot guy, and it was at that time where, if nobody wanted to be here because of Baalke. And of all of the teams that were available, Trevor Lawrence was the best quarterback that was available to coaches that had head coaching vacancies. So you figure one of the top offensive guys would have probably landed here, possibly.
Yeah, that's debatable on whether Trevor was the best. You can make the argument Caleb Williams has not shown as many flaws because he's only been in the league for 1 year, and I get it. He held the ball to all this stuff. I just don't think it turned out as badly as it could have. If they had done that, and let's say Ben Johnson chooses the Bears anyway, right? And you hire Liam Cohen, maybe you get Gladstone. Maybe Baselli's never a part of the process at that point in time. So, I just think I understand that was a frustrating moment, but I feel like even though they had to get drag kicking and screaming to that point that they largely rectified a lot of that. Not perfectly, and we'll never know. Maybe if Ben Johnson would have been here and maybe we would have won the next 5 Super Bowls. Number 4 for me is a specific play in a specific moment in time. And this was in a 2007 postseason divisional round game against New England. Undefeated Patriots. Jags matching them score for score. Dennis Northcutt drops a would-be touchdown on 3rd and 11. This is pretty deep into the third quarter, as I recall. They're on the 21-yard line. David Garrard hits him right in the end zone. Northcutt just drops it. Jags settle for a Scobie field goal. And at that point, they'd been matching scores with New England. And this kind of put them behind. Then New England scores a touchdown. Now you're down 11, and it kind of got away from them. Would that have guaranteed the Jags go on to win the Super Bowl? No, but I think it would have been one of the most iconic wins in franchise history, taking down that undefeated New England Patriot team. We talked about the other day, 25 great moments in the last 25 years. CBS Sports picked the David Tyree helmet catch. It's a unique play, but it's also the fact of who their opponent was that makes that play so spectacular. I don't think it guarantees the Jags would have won that game, by the way, but it would have gave them a chance to continue to stay on pace and match score for score with the Patriots. I put Northcutt's drop at number 4. Moving on.
Number 3.
Number 3 for me is, look, there's so many draft things, and I've got a couple of them in here. There's so many picks you can focus on. What I decided to do here with number 3 was just focus on one round of one draft, and that was 2020. That first round, you took C.J. Henderson at 9. Thank you, Dave Caldwell. Over the likes of Tristan Wirfs, who would still be one of your starting tackles and still be one of the best in the National Football League to this day. He went 13th. CeeDee Lamb went 17th. That's okay. We made it up by taking Kayvon Chase on 2 picks ahead of Justin Jefferson in that same round. The Jaguars wide receiver core since 2020 could have been CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. Now, would you have been able to afford to keep them both? Who knows? But I would have liked to have seen the damage they could do in the first 4 or 5 years of their career as a pair. Or having Wirfs and Jefferson and having your left tackle spot locked down along with your alpha wide receiver for all those years. How much different would it have been? You got nothing out of C.J. Henderson and Kayvon Chase on. I put that as number 3 on my list.
I went a different draft. I went 2017. Taking a running back, I know Leonard Fournette was really good, but taking a running back in top 5 is I'm anti. I don't think you should take a running back at least until if you have a complete team that you feel like you're good at almost every spot. You know, taking a running back in the 20s in the first round is the minimum that I would do. Taking a running back in the top 5 and then having Patrick Mahomes at 10 and then having Deshaun Watson. Not everybody, doesn't think highly of him now, but those
at
first
the
couple,
time.
the first couple of years in Houston, he was unreal. So having one of those 2 quarterbacks, I mean, you could have picked any of those drafts in the last 15 years, and what is said, this quarterback, that quarterback in the first round, because I mean, you went Gabbert, Bortles. Who was the next one? Was Trevor the next first round quarterback they picked after that?
Bortles, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, any of those guys that you could have went through, you could have probably had a better team throughout those last 15 years since 2010.
All right, so we got 2 left. Why don't we save them for the other side? Got to hit a break right here. We'll come back, give you the 10-10 take on our number 1 spot on the list of potential do-overs that we'd like to have for the Jacksonville Jaguars. One day I'd like to go, man, you know what? Man, if we could only won that Super Bowl in 2031, we would have had 4 in a row instead of 3 and 4 years. Why can't we have that kind of level do-over thing? Got to earn it. Got to earn it. 2 to go in the countdown. Looking for our top 5 do-overs that we'd like from Jaguar history. Mike Dempsey, Dylan Denmark. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting, local here, right in Jacksonville Beach. Look, man, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, but with the hurricane season upon us and approaching and all the storms that could come with it, you got to make sure your roof is in good shape. If it has damage, if it leaks, Maybe it's just plain worn out. Maybe you just don't like the way it looks anymore. Apex is local, dependable. They're going to show up on time using premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, quality work that you can trust. So skip the storm season scramble and reach for the peak. That's Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach and online at apexroofingfl.com.
Take Jacksonville with you.
There's no place like home.
Listen to 1010XL away from home.
Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home. Home.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices. Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson custom windows and doors studios of 1010XL.
Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durban Park, Butler Point, and now in Ortega Park. Chicken Salad Chick.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through July 31st. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Millard Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Millard Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Millard Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Millard Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Max Fink, and I'm your Gator Updater. Listen for the Gator Report several times a week on 1010XL.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gator! I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. If you're going to buy an engagement ring, how much should you spend?
Frank, that's a question we hear a lot, and the guideline most often used is the equivalent of 2 months' salary. But I'll say this. The price you pay for a diamond is directly related to its beauty. If you want a big, cheap diamond, I'll guarantee you it's poor quality, and that's not what we carry at Underwoods. If you want a diamond of fine quality, cut to the right specifications for maximum beauty, not maximum weight, that's the kind of diamond we have at Underwoods. You see, when somebody's been married for a long time, they don't always remember what they paid for their engagement ring. They probably remember the sacrifice they made to pay for it. And when you consider that a diamond engagement ring will be worn every day for the rest of her life, most people will agree that a really fine quality diamond ought to be considered. That's what we specialize in at Underwoods and have since 1928.
That's Underwoods in San Marco, in Avondale, the Shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
Find the middle of the fairway with your drives. Get the golf tips and talk to keep you straight.
That's a great tee shot.
On the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
Get ready. The Jacksonville Rock Orchestra brings to life the magic of Fleetwood Mac. Like you've never heard it before. A 27-piece symphony fused with a full rock band, performing timeless hits like Rhiannon, Dreams, and You Make Loving Fun. One night only, July 11th at the historic Florida Theater. Get tickets today at floridatheater.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com. How many Major League Baseball players have played exclusively for the Yankees and the Mets?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Just 6 Major League players have played exclusively for the Yankees and the Mets, including the famous Yankee catcher Yogi Berra.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Hey, this one, Dylan, on the text line is not my lifetime enclosures. I'm sorry, man. No, you're not. But you're such a fantasy football-loving freak, Mike, that you can't help yourself. All you ever really love to talk about is wide receivers. You're such a wide receiver-loving maniac. Of all day, I feel like we hardly talked about wide receivers at all today. Am I wrong? I don't know. I guess it was because of the CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson thing. But that's pretty blatant when you take C.J. Henderson and Caleb Chase on, who somebody else pointed out in the text line. At least we get a good beach dance out of Caleb. Hey, it's all good. You know what? You know where the button is. We got 2 more to go in the countdown here. We got to wrap things up in the next 10 minutes or so, Dylan. So let's pick up where we left off.
Number 2.
All right, what do you got at number 2 on your countdown of moments or occurrences you'd like a do-over for the Jaguars?
The 99 AFC Championship game between the Jags and the Titans. I'm looking at this box score. Do you remember how many turnovers the Jags had that game?
Let me say 3.
6.
6?
And the Titans had 4.
Damn.
Kyle Brady lost 2 fumbles. Burnell lost 2 fumbles.
We had the lead at the half, man. Got shut out in the second
I'm
half.
looking at this box score. So the Titans won 33-14.
Yeah.
Steve McNair had 112 passing yards. And Steve McNair was a leading rusher, 91 yards. Eddie George had 86. And then you're looking at a couple other things. Fred ran for 110. Jimmy Smith had 92 yards receiving. But the turnovers, I mean, that you can't overcome 6 turnovers.
And you created 4, for your defense.
And the Jags had 100 yards and penalties that game as well.
Well, a lot of people have put the 99 championship game in there. You can go to the 96 championship game, right? You losing to New England. They've been in that position 3 times and have not been able to advance. It's certainly valid. I didn't put that in there. I have 1 coming up, but it's kind of representative of all the championship game failures, and we'll get to that in a moment. Number 2 for me, this was, again, I've already done the 2020 draft, the first round. Well, I could do over on that entire round, but all the instances, I mean, again, there's so many, should have drafted this guy instead of that guy, but it's particularly galling at the quarterbacks that this team passed on historically. 2005, they took Matt Jones over Aaron Rodgers. All Aaron Rodgers did was win a Super Bowl and 4 MVP awards, still playing. Now, does it come with baggage and all that? I'd love to have a player in Jacksonville that had the career of Aaron Rodgers, and I'll take all the baggage, the Aaron Rodgers level baggage, which is this what? Narcissism? I mean, it's not like he's out there killing people, I don't think. At least he's good at getting away with it. 2017, you already mentioned it, Fournette over Mahomes. 2018, this might be the most galling. Taven Bryan over Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's 8 MVP awards in those guys, all of them still playing. 2 of the 3 at the height of their powers still. How different would the Jaguars' history have been had they made the decision to go in a different direction with any one of those guys? You know, and again, you know, people have pointed out, hey, what about us taking a quarterback, Blaine Gabbert over J.J. Watt? Granted, you could go that route. You can do it with a bunch of picks. But to me, what stood out was the quarterbacks that they passed. When you think about Rodgers, were we really looking to get a quarterback? No. But when you've got a guy and you're picking as late as they were, I think they were 21st that year where they took Matt Jones. Rodgers went 24th. You got a guy who is talked about as potentially the number 1 pick in the draft. Do you not have to consider, now maybe, I don't know, I assume you do a full evaluation. This is why you should do a full evaluation on all these guys. What if he falls to us? Well, he's not going to fall to us. Well, what if he does? Right? Maybe there were things that caused other teams to pass on him. I think it was mostly they felt like they had a quarterback situation settled. It wasn't a year where you had so many desperate teams at the top. And obviously, Alex Smith was first up to San Francisco, ironically, where Rodgers wanted to play. Grew up a 49er fan. But again, it could have been any one of those. I lump them all together as one thing. Give me any do-over on picking an MVP-level quarterback in the Jaguars' history. I hope Trevor Lawrence wins multiple MVPs before it's all said and done. All these other guys have already done it. So we got one left. I think we're going to be of the same mind on this.
Number 1. 10-10.
10-10 Take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 Take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company. Veteran owned and operated.
I mean, Miles Jack wasn't down. He wasn't. Right? And it's not something the Jags could have done differently. And maybe it's just collectively, if people have pointed out, Dylan, it's that whole game. 3rd and 18. You allow the Patriots to convert that. But Jags up 20-10, less than 14 minutes to go. Look, you can say, look, we still got the ball after review. Could have gone down and scored. But they did score. Miles Jack wasn't down. He should have been in the end zone. And you had a kind of a gut punch moment there to put the Patriots on their heels, up 17, less than 14 minutes to play. If you win that game, go to the Super Bowl against what I thought would be an imminently beatable team. Obviously, they won the Philadelphia Eagles, but again, this one is higher on the list for me than 99 or 96 because I really feel given who the opponent was, the state of affairs of how good the team was in any of those given years, I thought that was their best chance to finish it off. People are like, hey, 99, nobody else beat us. True story. Again, you didn't play those Rams that year. I think that Rams team was better than that Eagles team.
100%.
Right? So it's more like the missed opportunity of you were right there. You played yourself into position. Now, who knows how the history would have gone, but who cares? You win the Super Bowl, man. You know, and you can say, oh, you know, we would have been stuck with this guy longer or that guy longer. Okay. That Super Bowl champion we would have been stuck with longer. That wipes away just a litany of mistakes. You win, and yeah, maybe you made some mistakes along the way, but you can swallow that and go, you know what, I might have been better set up for the next 5 years if I had done this, but who cares? Because even if you're better set up, there's no guarantee you're going to win. Now, there's no guarantee they would have won that Super Bowl following 2017, but in my mind, I think that was their best opportunity if they had advanced at any of those championship games. 99 was a great team. There's no question about it. I just think I have more respect for the opponent they would have faced that year. I'm not saying they guaranteed definitely would have lost. The Rams snuck one out over the Titans, but that was a Titans team we couldn't get past. Miles Jack wasn't down. Just call the play properly. That's the only do-over we needed. Call the play properly. Oh, whistle blew it dead. You get the ball, but you don't get the points. 27-10, less than 14 minutes ago with that defense, the way they played that year. Now, granted, they still gave up a 3rd and 18 as the game went on, but I would take my chances, and I believe you have that at the top as well.
Yeah, I was looking at the because that's the closest the Jags have been to a Super Bowl was that 2017 team. Obviously, that happens. Then you put on top of, in that fourth quarter was so predictable. The offensive play calling was run the ball every first down, and then you're getting in 3rd and long, and you're throwing the ball, and then you got a punt, and then we all know what happened at the end of the game. That Super Bowl was like a Pro Bowl. with the Patriots and Eagles with Nick Foles. Nick Foles threw for 373. I know New England had over 500 yards of offense. I'm trying to pull up this box score, but the internet's not working with me. But I remember it was like an absolute shootout, and that Jags defense in that game is obviously a lot different. You know, who knows who wins that game? I mean, think about the quarterback matchup: Nick Foles versus Blake Bortles in the Super Bowl from the last.
Right. There's no guarantee that we win that game.
Right, but. The game looks a lot different with that Jags defense, the way they were playing that year.
I thought so as well. Got mentioned by a bunch of people. Here are some of the ones that people mentioned. I won't go through everyone's top 5 list, but just some of the ones that we didn't get to, and they're very valid. Scott said among his, signing Gabe Davis, top 5? I don't know if that's top 5, but hey, it's your list. Hiring Tom Coughlin back as the EVP, worked short term. And this one as well, sadly, Justin Blackman. At least, we talked about this on the break, at least Justin Blackman could play, right? He had demons, there's no question about it. And, by all accounts, good guy, couldn't stay away from getting himself in trouble with alcohol primarily, and so be it. But, R.J. Soward, I think, had a fraction of the talent of Justin Blackman. Maybe I'm looking at it just based on the results that he got when he was here in Jacksonville. That one, I understood the risk on the talent. The talent was there. The risk did not pay off, but that's fine. Let's see. Daniel, the Henny drive, allowing Henny to have that long drive. Not cleaning house at first and keeping Balky during a brutal press conference. Again, I feel like they mostly rectified that. Let's see. For Code Blue, let's see. A lot of Henny. J.J. Watt, he would have taken ahead of Gabbert. That's one. A lot of the same ones in there. Let's see. Hiring Balky as GM, hiring Urban Meyer as head coach, bringing Coughlin back as EVP, drafting Bortles, 3rd overall, and should have drafted Derek I'm sorry, I thought he was going to say Derek Henry. It was drafting Derek Harvey at 9. They thought that was the final piece, put him over the top. It was not a good selection. That's the problem. You got too many of these. It was too much of a target-rich environment for us today to really limit it to a definitive 5. But the Miles Jack wasn't down. The 99 championship game are probably the most frequently mentioned that I've seen today.
Yeah, by the way, that Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl with Nick Foles, I was corrected. The Eagles had 538 total yards. The Patriots had 613.
Well, Brady threw for 500.
Yeah,
in that game. It was. I don't think clearly he wasn't throwing for 500 against this defense, but who knows? Maybe would Blake have been able to take advantage? Who knows? Would have liked to have found out, right? You're not going to get that do-over. So let's just win one, and we can all congratulate ourselves on being long-suffering and staying with the franchise. All right. Speaking of long-suffering.
Now, the 2-minute drill on 1010XL.
You weren't born.
Wow.
You were not alive in 1985, young lady.
I was not, actually.
So there you go.
I was not.
But
I missed it.
Taylor Dahl is here. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. We were looking at do-overs today, and that's the problem with. I guess you could probably do this with every franchise to some degree. Yeah. If we could have done this, if we had made this move, this moment in time, but I know there's probably a little recency bias. I still. Hard to get past the Miles Jack wasn't down. Yeah. As again, that's the thing. Doesn't guarantee you win that game.
Yeah.
But damn, give me a 17-point lead with that defense with under 14 to go.
Yeah, and especially you talk about momentum shifters. That's one of the biggest ones that we have probably organizationally here, because it was that moment where you felt like everything was up. The moment that happened, it felt like the tables kind of turned a little bit. And so when you talk about in general the call being terrible, we just heard Coach Coughlin talk about it not long ago about how the league apologized for it. So that's an extra dagger in your heart if you go back, because it shouldn't have happened. And then you don't know what happens after that, but in your mind you felt like you had control up until that point.
Yeah, boy, I'd never heard that before. Tom said that a couple of weeks or however many weeks ago it was here on the drill. You almost rather not know that, right? Like it's like Brian Sexton brought it. It was funny. I'd never heard this anecdote before. Prior to playing Denver in the 96 playoffs, the broadcast team of the Broncos said, "Hey, Brian, when we go to the Super Bowl, would you like to work sideline for us? We can make that happen."
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I mean, like the presumption that this is just over
it's
and
happening.
done with.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what everyone kind of thought. Diehard Jaguar fans, forgive me. I'm sure you all believed that they were going to go on the run that they went on in '96.
Everybody believed it.
Taylor, can we just if we just win one, we can almost turn an entire page in Jaguar pre Super Bowl, post. Who cares? We don't have that pain anymore.
Yeah, you just got to get it. And that's what the couple, when I read your tweet, two things came to mind. And obviously the Miles Jack one is the biggest, especially for probably my age group. But I do think that going back to just a few years ago, that Kansas City game, you literally had Patrick Mahomes on one leg during that game. Yes.
Right?
Chad Henne, you let score a touchdown. You don't let that happen. A Jamal Agnew fumble doesn't happen. What? You're going to the Super Bowl.
They were down 3, and that drive by Henne gave the Chiefs a 10-point lead. I had to refresh my memory on all the particulars. Then Jags ended up losing that game by 7. And you did have the Jamal Agnew. I mean, Mahomes is literally on the sideline. And somebody reminded me, first play of the drive, Foye got a pick. Penalty. Oh, wiped out. That's no big deal. We still got him backed up. It's only
But those little moments, those are the tiny little things that if one thing happens, you beat the Kansas City Chiefs and you're heading to the Super Bowl.
You know what that is? That's life. Right? if one thing happened different, I'd be a billionaire.
That is true.
That would have been someone giving me $1 billion, that one thing. But
if I was born into a trust fund family.
Right. If I had only been born with a trust fund that had $1 billion. And you see the guy who put, I don't know how many, a few $1,000 in a Bitcoin wallet. Like, what was it? Like, I saw this 15 years ago, and it's worth $1 billion now.
Oh.
He didn't touch it for
just let it
whatever
sit.
amount of time, I guess. I don't know, man.
Wow.
I'm going to die at the right time. I'm not, I can't keep up with all
the big. I don't understand
that kind
either.
of stuff.
Yeah.
We can keep up with helmets and heels and what is coming up on the program.
Yeah, so we are going to. We've talked to you a few times. We've been ranking divisions by position group. So today we're doing running backs. We're ranking the NFL divisions by strictly just their running backs. It's hard to not include offensive line sometimes because you're like, well, so we're trying to exclude that as much as possible. Just the pure running backs. If you were to have those running backs, which ones would you choose? So we're going to rank the divisions by that. We'll also get into some more Jags topic, more offensive line talk, because I saw there was a couple rankings I saw recently of offensive line rankings, but then a chart kind of breaking down the highest rated. So it took each team and the highest rated in 10 different rankings and the lowest rated. So give them an average of what the expectations of offensive line will be. So yeah, a lot of that's going to be one of the bigger conversations during camp is the offensive line.
Sure.
So we'll get a little bit of a look at that.
And we still won't know.
Yeah,
right? Until you get it. And I did see, and we didn't get to it today, but PFF did theirs, and I love to see that Houston is number 30.
They're last. I will say, spoiler, on every single list, Houston is last. They're the only one that
right. I mean,
that consensus last.
They weren't really good last year, and now they're now you could argue, well, if they weren't good, it's good that they turned it over.
Figured something. Yeah.
There's a lot of hey, Cam Robinson, good luck there. Laramie Tunsil to Cam Robinson. I don't think that's necessarily an upgrade. Maybe in the locker room. I'm
maybe.
not because apparently
and penalties. I guess he had a ton of penalties. That was his thing.
True, but better blocker.
Back him up. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, have a great show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Taylor Dahl coming your way, along with Lauren Brooks on helmets and heels coming up next. And I gave them credit, Dylan. I totally stole what helmets and heels did. I don't know, going back a couple months, similar to what they're doing. They're going around the different divisions saying, does this division have the best collective group of running backs? Tomorrow, we're going to do like we did for the offense yesterday. We'll do it for the defense. Going through the AFC South, defensive ends, defensive tackles, linebackers, safeties, corners, ranking those position groups within the division. So that's coming up tomorrow. For today, we thank you for listening to Jaguars Today. As always, for Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Tony Smith enjoying his week off. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow from 10 to noon right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
He's all going to bring us a least